I already know some of you guys aren't going to be happy, but this is every Outlast Trials rig ranked. This is just after the Project Judas update, so it's the most recent update, and I doubt these rankings are going to change anytime soon. And I'm trying to disregard any recency bias that I might have. So all that usual YouTuber stuff, 98% of you guys aren't subscribed, and I've been loving all the support I've been getting recently. And since I have to get through every rig, I'm not going to waste any more time in this. And don't forget guys, all the rigs in Outlast are good and they all have their own individual uses, so don't get too mad when your favorite rig isn't placed too high on the list. Number 6, I'm sorry, but it's the blind rig. Yeah, that's right, the 3 blind rig users just fell to their knees in devastation. I'm sorry. Blind rig can just simply boil down to being just one word: outdated. The blind rig just becomes stun with a longer setup involved, leaving a huge cloud in the way that affects even yourself. It can block your own vision, making it potentially harmful to your own team. Now don't get me wrong, stun rig can be incredible to lock down areas, keep enemies away, and especially in invasion. This is with blind rig becoming its most powerful when put in the hands of players who are really good at the game and know exactly where enemies are scripted to spawn in certain trials. Unfortunately, this might only happen 2 or 3 times in a single trial. 90% of the time, blind rig can't be used in the heat of action. It has to be used preemptively, which just brings it so far down on this list. But yes, 110% blind rig has its uses in the hands of people who know what they're doing, who know the cooldowns, and know the trials. Unfortunately, and I really mean this unfortunately because I think blind rig could be really good, stun rig can do all of that but better. It's a shame the adrenaline rush is incredibly short and isn't that good, because I feel like that could be really fun, like what they recently did with Barricade. And yes, I'll acknowledge that the rearm has its uses, but is an effect that's only useful when you waste more time leading an X-pop back to where it was, on top of the time that's already wasted in setting up your trap. If you're playing in a team, you could use blind rig to lead an enemy away from the main objective to help your team out, but again, nothing that the stun can't do. Sadly, that's why the blind rig is at the bottom spot on this list. Number 5. It's the X-ray. Now after the recent buff, I didn't want to put X-ray at the bottom spot, but I had to. I put all of my recency bias aside. I just realized this rig still isn't great. Once again, an amazing rig under the right circumstances, but that's under the right circumstances. I may be underselling its ability to find objectives, but it's really not that useful. If we're talking about finding scapegoats, you can hear scapegoats, you can use the tracker on them. If we're talking about radios, you can usually hear radios, and you still have to go up to them in order to know what symbol they are. If we're talking about trials like Teach the Police Officer, you still need to go find all the keys in order to get to the room where the reel is, if you find it. All of the things that the X-ray rig does can be done by decent game knowledge. Yes, it's nice to know where enemies are, but usually you can know this by decent game knowledge and spatial awareness. For experienced players, this becomes a nice little tool to help you know where things are, and for new players, this becomes a crutch that could really damage how you play in the future. If you get used to using X-ray rig as a new player, you're not going to learn how to tell where things are normally. And I don't know about you guys, but the overlay that X-ray puts on a screen, it just really gets in the way for me. And yes, I haven't mentioned deactivating traps that was just added. Again, avoiding traps isn't something that's difficult to do once you've played the game a bit. The only exception I can see to this is Franco's traps, which are difficult to see, but are only in about 5% of the trials in the game. When using this rig, I find myself purposely using it to go past traps, and never really actually avoiding traps that I wasn't aware of. So all of the quality of life changes that were just released are amazing, and X-ray really is fun to use in the new update. But don't let all of these people telling you that X-ray is one of the best rigs in the game, don't let them get to you, because it really just is low. But don't get me wrong, again, a strong rig, but not up there with the rest of them. That brings us to number 4. I'm a bit devastated to put it here, but it's the Barricade rig. The new Barricade rework is amazing, but it still does a lot of the things that the old Barricade could already do. The adrenaline you get every 1 minute feels great to use, and I can't wait to use it to my advantage in some trials to make them faster, but it just falls flat so badly since it's so short. All of those people who are thinking, wow, this is great, it already was great, you just didn't use it. Now that there's an extra hit that enemies need to do to break your barricade, it feels so much nicer and actually holds off enemies more than usual. I would love to put this higher, especially because of how fun this rig is, But this isn't a fun tier list, this is actual practicality. And the new update actually nerfed the Barricade in some ways. The amount of barricades you have actually doesn't recharge until you've hit 0. So you have to change up your playstyle in order to get barricades back when they aren't being hit. Of course, nobody wants to be backtracking in a trial, and this isn't sustainable because eventually you're going to have to wait out that minute-long cooldown. Regardless, a rig I think everybody should be using because of how fun it is, but at the moment, it's just number 4. It could be so much stronger. Number 3, it's the heal rig. I won't lie, this is probably my least favorite rig in the entire game. You'll rarely see me using it, and it's useless in introductory and standard. But I just can't deny how useful and powerful this thing is. It shines its most in intensive and psychosurgery, especially when you're in big groups. Not as much while you're solo, but playing solo while you're in high difficulties, it can just save you from so many worries and possible deaths. And I'm only realizing now that I would probably have this interchangeable with the second spot on this list. The only thing holding the heal rig back is the little stun that it does to enemies. If this were longer and more than just of a little bottle smash or something like that, it would be such a strong rig. It gets used in a few of these clips in the background here, but sometimes it just doesn't even look like something triggers. It's so confusing. If it were a bit longer, maybe the length of a brick stun, it would be just S tier. I feel like the heal rig cloud really needs to feel like a force field around you that's actually protecting you. Other than that, especially with the right coordination, it is just amazing to heal your whole team. So that has secured it its number 3 spot on this list, making way for the next one. It's number 2, the Jammer rig. The Jammer rig isn't the most fun to play with, and it definitely has its issues. But you just can't deny it's the king of utility. It can disable and turn traps against the enemy, it can unlock doors and containers, it can destroy TVs for some reason, it can self-revive, it can corrupt enemies, and it can also open special gates. And I also learned recently that it can also open the confidential doors in the main trials. So there's no denying the amount of uses that the Jammer rig has. Unfortunately, it has its issues, like in this clip here where I try to get the pusher, but for some reason it just resets back to 0. And there's no way around this. If you miss it even for a millisecond, it will reset all the way back to 0. And all this just for their mediocre vomit. A lot of the times you'll get hit in between their vomits. It just really isn't the best for denying enemies, especially in endgame situations. A lot of the time, you'll be the one chasing the enemy trying to get any use out of this rig. Despite this time wasting, it has a pretty similar ability to the heal rig, being able to heal you and your team by opening the healing cabinets around the map. You can also get extra batteries and rig recharges, which you should be giving out to your team. Since your cooldown is incredibly short, that's also another thing that's great about the Jammer rig. And I haven't even mentioned the Pacemaker upgrade, which can bring you or one of your teammates back to life and can just be so clutch in the right situations. So that's it for the Jammer rig. You can come fight me about that placement. Number 1, without a doubt, it's the stun rig. I was so hopeful that the new reworks to Barricade and XRay would dethrone stun, but it's still at the top. The reason why stun is still at the top is because it is essentially a get out of jail free card, meaning that wherever you use it, you will be safe. If you make a mistake, just throw it down and you'll be completely fine. This is why I beg new players, don't use it, because you'll never learn how to actually play the game and evade enemies for yourself. I don't think this needs much more explanation as to why this is the best rig in the game. It refills everyone in the range's stamina, it refills their battery, it destroys all the traps around you, and finally it stuns all the enemies around you in such a large range. If you're in any form of trouble or you make a mistake, just stun everybody around you and you'll be fine. Don't even get me started at how well it is at stopping endgame situations from getting bad, and in invasions, it's just so ridiculous. You really just don't need any more of an explanation as to why stun rig has consistently been the best rig in the game. I really hope this eventually changes up, because I don't think stun rig is healthy for the game or people learning the game. It's just such an instant win button. Anyway, just another reminder that 98% of you guys aren't subscribed. So that has been every single rig in Outlast Trials ranked. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. See yas.